Hi, Internet. I'm here to address a problem and to share something I love. And both of those center around the idea of science. Now, my problem with science, the thing I love about science is that it's for the curious. Science is about asking questions and finding answers, finding ways to research the answers. It's being a detective. And the amount of knowledge that's been collected about how the universe works, how our bodies work, and everything in between it's insane how much is known. And it feels insane to me how much is not known by most people. And that's not our fault. I think in our culture, there's the feeling that science belongs to scientists. And if you don't have a ton of school in your life, you don't know much about what's going on. And I don't think that's fair. There's always Facebook articles, but there's a limit to how much those do. And I really feel that science is done by real people. People work hard, they figure things out, but that knowledge should be freely available to all of us. And it is, except it's kind of in code. And that's the problem we're going to address. So I think science belongs to all of us. So that's the problem that I want to address with this. And this series of videos is going to involve me sharing science from a non-technical perspective, which is a fancy way of saying I'm going to talk in normal English about the kind of science I love the best. And I'll tell you who I am in a minute, maybe. But the kind of science I'm fascinated in is called molecular cell biology. Cells are what human and living animal plant tissue is made of. If it's alive, it's a cell or a bunch of cells. Think of a water balloon with a bunch of stuff inside. DNA, that's in there. And all sorts of other stuff, ribosomes and Golgi bodies and proteins, carbohydrates, fats, everything, all the words you know from nutrition classes are in there. All the words you know from high school science are in there. And I don't have a diagram of a cell because I'm sick of looking at them, so I didn't make one. Google it, or just keep watching and we'll get there eventually. So the thing with molecular cell biology, molecular just means on a very small level, and biology is the study of life. So what I am particularly focusing on are cell membranes. Membranes are the skin of a cell. It's where the action is for the cell communicating with what the world around it. Just like, I should have prepared an analogy, but I didn't, so we're going to move on. Cell membranes are where a lot of stuff happens, and it's an overlooked part of the cell when you think of it, because high school science you learn like the stages of cell reproduction, mitosis, meiosis. Those words are familiar and cause a headache. I hate them too. But I love cell membranes. It's endlessly fascinating. The more you zoom in, the more you see. And the more knowledge you have about the universe in your head, the better your life will be just by being there. I really, really believe that. And so I want to talk a little bit about how this works and why. So here's my problem. Here's me. That's not my problem. This is me. I'm Aunt Bina to most of my family. I have a degree in molecular biology from UW-Madison in Wisconsin. And this is me sitting in my lecture hall with 300 other students, sophomore or junior year of college. Pink shoes and all. Those are shoes. I'll get better at drawing as this goes on, I promise. And this is my professor standing at the front of a hall full of students, 300 plus students in there. He wrote the textbook. I got a great education. He was a great guy. But the thing he said on the first day of class was so intimidating. I mean, it was kind of exciting too, and I think it was very honest. He said that studying molecular biology, studying biochemistry, which is a similar topic, about looking at things under a microscope and zooming in and zooming in and zooming in and learning how the parts work. He said this kind of science is like learning a new language, because if you don't have the vocabulary, you won't be able to understand it. And I thought science was all about concepts. And it is, but the concepts are kind of beautiful. They're pretty. They make a lot of sense intuitively. But science is really hard. And what I wanted to talk about is why. Why is science so hard if the ideas are so beautiful and it's just a matter of zooming in and asking questions and reading Facebook? And the answer is it's so hard because of the vocab. The vocabulary used by scientists is so specialized. It's so unique to science. They make up their own words to describe things. And they have to do that. If you have a group of people who love anything, they make up their own words to describe the things that they love, because language is amazing that way. Language is about specializing and communicating. So scientists make up a language to communicate with each other about very specific things. But that makes it very hard for this guy to communicate with you. So instead, you get this guy. More on that topic in a minute.